So maybe we should start by telling us your name, year, and the graduate program that you're in.
Sure. So hi, everyone watching this video. My name is Maryanne Alderson. I am a fourth year in the Criminology Law and Society doctoral program. In that program, I primarily research issues surrounding drug use, homelessness, social justice, and areas around that, and how the criminal justice system intersects and interacts with those areas.
Great. And so we're doing this video basically so we can give students an idea of the community engagement projects that they can become involved with. So would you like to tell us a little bit about what you do with the community?
Sure. For 5 years, I worked at Homeless Healthcare Los Angeles, which is a nonprofit community-based organization out of downtown Los Angeles. They have a few different sites. There, I worked as a case manager, working directly with the community to provide those services, and then providing some light case management to people trying to get into housing, trying to get help with their government benefits and things of that nature. It was the best job. I absolutely loved it. People think I'm crazy when I say that I love going to Skid Row, but I loved it. It was the best thing ever. So that's a little bit about the program that I was with.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I'm glad that it sounds like you really enjoy your work there.
Yeah.
So why did you choose to do that?
So I ended up there kind of in a fluke for a couple of reasons. In my undergraduate, so I did my undergraduate in criminology at Cal State Long Beach. And there I took a class called, I think at the time it was called Substance Use and the Criminal Justice System. Now it's called the War on Drugs or something like that, taught by Dr. Dina Perrone. She connected me with the person. Her name was Angelica. And she called me and was like, come in for an interview. And I did. I showed up, and the program manager at the time was Chloe. She gave me a little tour. I thought I was there for an interview, so I was wearing like business casual. She gave me a tour and was like, okay, this is the front desk. Have a nice day. And I started, and I was like, oh, well, okay. I thought I was coming here to learn a little bit about it, but I think in the end, it was kind of a good thing to just drop me in the water, because I never looked back. You know, I started that first day, and then I kept going. I started as a volunteer. I was hired as a case manager maybe a year later, and then worked there for several years after that. So kind of happened by accident. I never intended to work at a needle exchange. It wasn't a goal of mine, but just through networking, through going to office hours, I got the incredible experience that I did.
And is that connected to why you eventually chose to go to graduate school?
Yeah, actually. It's interesting because to work there, most of those people have master's in social work degrees. I decided not to do that. I don't know why. So I ended up getting my master's in criminology at Cal State Long Beach. Again, I stayed there for far too long, 7 years. But while I was working at the needle exchange, I saw the injustices happening. Like the things I learned about in that class, I saw happening, and I got to know the people that they were happening to, right? These were no longer just statistics. They were people with names and stories and people I had conversations with. And these clients that I worked with are just some of the most talented, smart, resilient, awesome people that you could ever get to know. And to learn that just because of the way our laws are structured and the way that the criminal justice system works, that they have the lives that they do, right? It doesn't need to be this way. Homelessness does not need to be the way that it is in California, in the United States. There's countries that don't have homelessness, right? And not because everyone there is wealthy, but because of the way that their societies are structured and their criminal justice system is structured. And so by learning about this from my clients, I knew that I had the potential to do something for them, right? I could just work there as a case manager day to day in the trenches doing direct service, or I could pursue graduate school, pursue a PhD, and work on things from a different lens. As a professor, which is my ultimate goal, I can teach that next generation of cops, of probation officers, of lawyers, of city officials, some of the problems that I saw, teach them some of the problems that are existing, so that when they go out there to do those jobs, they have that information. So that's really why I pursued graduate education. I can still do my community-based work, and I do as a volunteer, but I can couple it now with with academia, with working with students, and with doing the research that I do. So kind of that 3-tiered approach of service, research, and teaching.
That's fantastic. I really love how you tied in your experiences with, what you're doing in your graduate degree and what you're going to do after, and hopefully become a really inspiring professor, honestly.
Hopefully,
so do
fingers
you,
crossed.
I think you will. So how would you suggest that students pursue these careers, or
So
the areas you're interested in?
I think that's twofold. If you want to go out in the community and work in the community, I think first off, talk to people who do. That's a really good start. Just reach out to your professors, right? Reach out to me. There's oftentimes volunteer positions at these organizations. Because they're nonprofits, they really need a lot of help, and they can't always afford to pay the people that are helping them. So starting as a volunteer is a really good way to kind of get your feet wet and see, do I like this? Could I handle this as a career? Because it's hard work. It's rewarding work. It's great work, but it is hard work. So getting your feet wet that way, talking to people who do it and see what their experience is like. In terms of the community-based work. In terms of, also with the community-based work, I should say, really research the schooling you need for that job, right? Like I mentioned earlier, to work at that spot, usually you need a master's in social work. I worked there because I volunteered there forever and I showed that I was good at it. And so they hired me anyways. But when I was in undergrad, I thought that social workers worked for child services. I didn't realize that social workers could also go do other things, right? And actually, social workers, there's tons of places you can work. And so I majored in criminal justice because I wanted to help people. I wanted to become a juvenile probation officer and help, at-risk youth. When really what I wanted to do was become a social worker. I just didn't know that, right? So I'm happy with the path I took because of where I am now, but as an undergraduate, it would have been beneficial to do a little more research into what jobs go with what majors, right? If you're getting your degree in social ecology, what does that mean for you? If you're getting your degree in CLS or psych or whatever, what doors does that open? Do you have to go to grad school to get the job you want, or can you get it with a bachelor's degree, right? So things you have to think about. And then if you are thinking about grad school, thinking about, again, what your end goal is, right? Don't go to grad school just to go to grad school. In some cases, grad school is going to overqualify you for certain positions, especially coming from that crim background, right? Cops with master's degrees or things like that, it can overqualify you. And without that experience, you're hard to hire because you're going to cost a lot, right? Because you have a master's degree. But if you want a job where you need to go to grad school, right? You want to teach, you want to be a professor at a community college or four-year university, you want to do research, then grad school is right for you. And luckily at UCI, they are experts in going to grad school, right? It is an R1 university. They have awesome grad programs. So you can reach out and email any current PhD student in the program you're interested in, or talk directly to the faculty in your program and say, hey, I'm interested in grad school because of XYZ. What can you tell me about that? So with grad school, you can do both, like me, right? You can do your grad school, your research, your teaching, and your community work. So if you're nervous about, I don't want to leave my community, I don't want to stop that direct service work, which is a concern I had, right? I was like, oh my God, I need to go get my master's in social work so I can stay here. You can do both. A lot of researchers do. They do community-based research. They spend a lot of time with their communities that they're researching, volunteering, doing advocacy. So you can do both. So it's really just spending some time with yourself and thinking, what is my end goal? What do I want my life to look like, right? PhDs give you very cushy outcomes, right? You can become a professor, have a nice office. It's really, really sweet, right? It's a sweet ride. Or do you want that like hard day-to-day trench work where you can really see the outcomes, right? You see the people you're helping, but it's a little bit of a harder job, right? So really think about what you want your life to look like, and then think about the steps you need to take to get there, whether that's engaging with the community, doing grad school, or doing both. It's really up to what you guys want to do, but reach out to people, talk to people. You're never bugging us. You're never bugging professors. You're never bugging community workers. Just send an email, do a cold call. Hey, I'm curious about A, B, and C. Can you tell me about it? That's probably the best advice I can give.
That sounds like wonderful advice for undergraduates. And it sounds also like your community experience really helped you form like that idea of what your path was going to look like for, both graduate school and just your future careers. So That's great.
It definitely did. Yeah. I have to say that if you are one who wants to do research and pursue grad school, I encourage you to spend some time with the communities that you're going to be looking at, right? You can only learn so much from a textbook or from a professor or even from a documentary or a video, but you can learn a lot from talking to people, spending some time in those communities, in those areas. So community engagement is a cornerstone of all the change we want to enact in the world. So it's a great thing to get involved in. I highly, highly recommend it.
All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we end our interview?
No, just thank you guys for watching this. Please email me or I think email is the only contact info I'm giving. So email me because we're not on campus. So I don't have office hours to offer you. But send me an email if you guys have any questions, concerns about anything, grad school, community engagement, even just as undergraduates, right? I'm a TA 99% of the time. So I can offer you guidance in that way. But my inbox is always open. So send me an email. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always available. And thank you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Maryanne.
Thank you.